Welcome back to the video series for the CCL 2025 Finals, an online Heroscape tournament. This is round 1, where I'm facing Darkleaf. I discussed the format and bracket in the introduction video, so if you haven't seen that yet, I recommend checking it out. I lose the dice off, and Darkleaf bans my Kuthnak pod. I was a bit surprised by this, as I thought my worst individual matchup was my Kuthnak pod into Darkleaf's Q9 pod, so I was happy to have avoided that despite losing the dice off. I then took my Adalburn Raylan pod, which was my only real option, and Darkleaf took his Stingers X2 plus Hydra pod. So the final armies here are me with 5 squads of Death Chasers, Adalburn, Narak, and Raylan, plus some filler, versus 6 squads of Stingers with Hydra and Raylan, plus some filler. I chose to place first, as I wanted to develop towards the Dagmar side of the map, and I felt one side did that more naturally. Darkleaf then places his army on the same side, making it likely the battle happens near to Dagmar. I do my battle rush for Death Chasers, and then lose the opening initiative, which is pretty nice. 3 Stingers move up just past Raylan. I have my order marker 1 on Raylan, and push her fairly aggressively, next to jungle where she can cover Dagmar. Because Death Chasers have Battle Rush, you can often afford to make a more aggressive Raylan first move with them. If those Stingers overextend to attack her, Death Chasers will be able to kill them in response. Darkleaf ends up just extending 1 Stinger, and developing 2 more in the same direction. He rolls for Drain, which I would generally not advise unless you think you are significantly down in the matchup, hits it, and deals 1 wound to Raylan. I then move up Narak to cover all the forward Death Chasers, and engage that forward Stinger with 1 while developing 2 others forward. I get the Stinger. 1 Stinger moves up the center, outside of Raylan's aura, and 2 more develop into that pod area. They both miss the forward Death Chaser, but the one on height does 1 wound to Narak. I bring up Adalburn, who will be my primary bonder for as long as he's alive now that Narak is positioned, and 1 Death Chaser takes height on the Stinger outside of the aura, and I develop 2 others up the middle. I get the 1 Stinger. I had decided not to take Dagmar here because I actually wanted to lose the next initiative, and then get the switch from round 2 into round 3, when my army would be more ready to come in. Unfortunately, though, I win the round 2 initiative. I had also put my order marker 2 on Raylan, as I thought I'd need to double move her to support Adalburn and Death Chasers engaging that Stinger pod. So I'm playing around knowing that she has the next order marker on my first Death Chaser's turn. I ended up bringing Adalburn pretty aggressively forward, outside of Raylan's aura, knowing she'd come in next turn to cover him. I took Dagmar with 1 Death Chaser, developed another up the middle, and sent a 3rd into the pod to engage a Stinger, and I do get that kill. 2 Stingers move up to level 2, and a 3rd one advances into the level 1 pod, and they drain again, and hit it again. All 3 shots go into Bernie, and they end up doing 4 wounds. Ow. My 2 is Raylan, and I move her aggressively again, knowing I need to cover all of the forward Death Chasers, and she manages to get a 3v5 kill in for funsies. Darkleaf develops 3 Stingers up the middle, 1 to level 3, and the other 2 to level 2, and drains again, but this time gets bitten by the Drain Snake, and loses a Stinger and the turn. I needed that, as Adalburn dying on that turn would have been quite bad. Adalburn comes in, taking an LEA that goes through, but misses the 5v5, and so only kills 1 Stinger. I send 1 Death Chaser to engage Raylan, and 2 others to engage the central Stingers. I put 1 wound on Raylan, and kill the center Stinger outside of her aura. Stingers rotate a bit, taking 1 LEA that misses, and drain again, hitting it. The first 4v5 does 3 wounds to Adalburn, killing him. Damn, that could be a problem. Stingers then kill a Death Chaser. I win initiative without the need for Dagmar, and Narak comes in for a heighted shot, but misses it. This round, there is an order marker on Hydra, so I send 1 Death Chaser to engage him, hoping to force an LEA if he wants to go hit my core pod, and take 2 attacks on the forward Stingers. Death Chasers roll poorly though, and only get 1 Stinger. Order marker 1 is Stingers, and Darkleaf pushes more of them up to that same level 1 pod area. They drain again, hitting it, but my defense holds solid, and I only lose one Death Chaser this turn. This time Narak gets the hided kill. I re-engage the Hydra again, but also the Stingers outside of Raylan's aura, and send 2 Death Chasers into the Raylan pod. I get one of those 2 kills, and the Stinger outside of her aura. The 2 is on Hydra, so I'm glad I engaged it. Hydra takes the LEA, which makes sense, and it goes through. Massive. Hydra rolls pretty poorly on attack, and only gets 1 Death Chaser this turn, so Narak remains safe. I decided to back up Narak on this next turn, knowing that a Stinger's turn was coming, and not having a good spot for Narak to get a high percentage attack in this turn anyways. I send in 1 more Death Chaser, develop another, and take 2 attacks, getting 1 kill, the guy outside the aura. 1 Stinger rotates to level 2 to engage Raylan, and another engages the Death Chaser outside the auras. This time Darkleaf doesn't drain, and gets 1 kill. I win initiative again without the need for Dagmar, and Narak rotates a bit but doesn't take the attack. Because I can develop a Death Chaser up out of the back into that spot, which is a better attack anyways, and I wanted to keep Narak outside of Hydra's threat range, as there are 2 order markers each on Hydra and Stingers this round. I used this turn to bring up 3 Death Chasers from the back, getting just that 1 attack in, but it does go through. The 1 is Stingers, who replace that spot and drain again, hitting it. They have a big turn, killing Raylan and Death Chaser. Narak scoots forward and kills that Stinger, so now they are below a squad. I rotated the Death Chaser engaged with Isamu to hit Marku, and send 2 new Death Chasers into Hydra. My goal was to prevent Hydra from getting to Narak yet. I put 2 wounds on Marku, but Hydra blocks both attacks. The Order Marker 2 is Hydra, who takes 3 attacks and kills 2 Death Chasers. Back to me, and I'm expecting the 3 to be on Hydra, but I still wanted to get value out of Narak, so I sent him around the far side to hit a Stinger, but he misses. I developed 1 Death Chaser up the middle, and double engaged Hydra, doing 1 wound this time. The 3 is on Hydra, who stays put and kills those 2 Death Chasers. I'm still on Dagmar, but I lose the next initiative anyways, and see 2 order markers on Hydra, 1 on Stingers, and 1 on Marku. And at this point, last round is called, so after this round it will come down to partial card scoring, or PCS. The order marker 1 is Hydra, who moves up and gets both Death Chaser kills. At this point, I was behind on PCS, so I have to play aggressively to try and wound and kill things. I rotated Narak around the back to hit Raylan, but she blocks it. I think the order marker 2 is Hydra and the 3 is Stingers, so I single engaged Hydra and developed 2 Death Chasers towards the Raylan Stingers pod to hit them before their order marker 3. I missed the Hydra attack. The 2 is on Hydra, and it takes the LEA to go and protect Raylan and the Stingers, but the LEA hits, lowering it to 1 head left, and it then misses that single attack on Narak. I rotated Narak to hit a Stinger, as if I'd killed it, I could have had a Death Chaser hit the other Stinger, potentially burning the order marker 3, but Narak misses. I bring that Death Chaser into the Stinger anyways, single engage the Hydra, and leave 1 free who can rotate the following turn to hit a Stinger or Raylan. I miss Hydra, but I do get that 1 Stinger. The 3 is Stingers, as expected, and there's only 1 left now, and it misses the 3v3. Narak pivots back and puts 1 wound on Raylan, and those 2 Death Chasers rotate around. The first one kills Raylan, the second one gets the last Stinger, and then I send the last attack into Marku, doing 3 wounds. The game then goes to time, leaving this PCS board state, and I win on points, moving on to round 2 of the bracket.